So now to France, where a state of emergency went into effect a short time ago. The French government trying to restore order following repeated nights of riots, most sparked by mobs of African and Arab immigrants who are poor and feel rejected by French society. Stuart Greer joins us now from a largely immigrant suburb of Paris that has seen some of the riots. Stuart, what's going on?
Well, Kevin, there's still plenty of tension on the streets of these suburbs. There is a curfew in effect tonight, but there's some confusion because each town can decide independently when to use it. But what is clear is that police today have been given new powers to prevent riots before they begin. They're walking the streets tonight, able now to arrest anyone or hand out fines to anyone they suspect may cause trouble. But I was just out recently speaking to some young people, and many of those people were saying that they're going to be ignoring this curfew tonight. And if this morning was any indication, it seems that the riots are far from over. More fires, more violence, more chaos. The rioters' defiant response to the crackdown by government officials and police. Toulouse, where a bus and nearly 24 cars were torched by African and Arab mobs, just one of more than 220 towns and cities gripped again by violence overnight. At least a dozen officers hurt, more than 320 rioters arrested, nearly 1,200 vehicles vandalized and set ablaze. In many ways, it has become a nightly routine. But what's new on the streets is this. Some people are now forming citizen brigades, arming themselves with fire extinguishers, then heading out to patrol the streets, where they are confronting anyone they view as suspicious. Others trying to take back the streets with a more restrained approach, hundreds turning out for a silent protest in a Paris suburb, finishing with a call for the government to do more to end the strife. A sentiment nervously echoed from abroad after copycat attacks again rattled nerves in neighboring Belgium. This morning, back in Paris, more embarrassing headlines, only adding to the sense of helplessness and anger.
Absolument scandaleux.
It's absolutely scandalous, says this woman. I have no pity on the rioters.
Je n'ai aucune pitié pour eux.
But the most frustrated are the ones living in the suburban social housing projects.
La nuit, on ne dort pas.
We're not sleeping at night, we're forced to guard our cars, says this man. It's exhausting.
C'est 400 filles.
But while people in these immigrant suburbs denounce the violence, they understand its roots and hope when the rioting ends, there will be change. France, he argues, has not yet accepted that it's a multiracial society. The French Prime Minister made his first effort to address the deeper issues, outlining new programs and new resources for France's immigrant communities. So, Kevin, tonight France puts its two-pronged plan into action, first offering new hope to these neighborhoods, but also a new warning that anyone caught breaking the curfew will feel the full brunt of the law.
Well, Stuart, you've already mentioned that some of the kids that you've been talking to in the neighborhood there say they're not going to obey it. So what happens if the curfews don't work?
Well, that's the big question. The curfews will only last for 12 days. After that, no one really knows. That's the real answer. There's two options on the table. One is passing a law to impose daytime curfews, another state of emergency, or bring in the army. Two very embarrassing options the French government hopes it doesn't have to rely on.
All right, Stuart Greer in Paris tonight. Thanks, Stuart.